Hello, and welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to be going through how I created my build for the Future Visions DreamSnap submission. This was a decor challenge that tasked us with creating the world of tomorrow. Use decor to create your very own high-tech version of the Valley's future, from robots to furniture and beyond. So this is the outfit that I came up with. I already had most of it on a mannequin already, except for the wings and Meredith's hair. And the only thing that I really knew that I wanted to do is incorporate the big UFO flying saucer theme park ride, which I knew I needed a really big place in order to do that. I wanted it to kind of be like I just landed on a new planet and needed to fuel up. So I wanted to incorporate Flo's Cafe, the house, as well as the item that you get from the Rifts, or yeah, the Rift in Time expansion with the mist. So let's go ahead and switch over to the build. So with this structure, it's massive. I knew I needed a big space in order to junk pile tags and utilize those three items. So I went over to the Teapot Falls over in not Eternity Isle, in the Storybook Vale, and cleared out this entire section of all of the trees, foliage, everything, and started to build out my DreamSnap from there. So the first thing I did was start to Tetris everything together, and I do this every week. I just go through the DreamSnaps tags and just put everything down that I can within reason. There's so many things that you can put down, but I start out with the things that match all four tags and then go to the ones that match 3, 2, 1, etc. And usually those 2 to 1 tag options are the things that I use as fillers, so the smaller items that I can Tetris in between the larger items. So that's all I'm really doing here, is just going through and just putting as many things down as I can and fitting them in the most economic way possible to ensure that I can get as many tags in there as possible. Additionally, because these items that I'm going to use in my foreground are so large, I didn't really know how far back it was going to capture these items, so I wanted to be better safe than sorry and incorporate as many of the tags as I could within the space and still have space to decorate. And I didn't know how big the build itself was going to be, so I didn't want to go too far past kind of that walkway that we naturally have here between the other part of the biome and where the teapots are, or the tea kettle is, on the right hand side. So what I'm going to do after I get this all situated is put in the vine walls to cover up all of this. And what I do is do 2 layers of vine walls to cover up my junk tags when it's a decor challenge. That way you can't see any of these items peeking through the cracks of the vine wall, since it doesn't completely sit flush together. You would be able to see little bits of these items peeking through potentially. Albeit, if you're taking a photo like I am further away from that back wall, it'll naturally blur itself, but I wanted to ensure that absolutely nothing was visible. And here I'm adding in a little bit more from the things that I kind of set aside. So as I'm junk piling everything, I start to pull things out to the side that I think that I might incorporate into my actual build, so that I don't have to go back through as often into the DreamSnap tags. And then what I'm gonna do is add in some trees and mushrooms just to make it kind of blend better with that back wall. And very little of that vine wall is going to show up in the actual photo, which is nice because we have so many big items in front of it. And in the end, you'll see it's kind of a blinding shot as well. So it sort of a blinding shot. It's not the traditional blinding shot, I would say, but you can't really tell the vine walls back there unless you're inspecting the photo really detailed. And so all I'm doing now is still incorporating these items in, trying to figure out what kind of a scene I want to create, and putting the items that I don't need for my build behind either other items or behind the vine wall. So I am using some of these Eve planters um, to kind of give a break from the darkness of the vine wall back there, and incorporating these water. I don't know what they are. They're from the Rockstar part. I can't even speak today. The Rockstar Star Path. So I'm just initially putting these to pink to play off of the V8 Cafe, but in the end, I have a lot of pink in my photo, and I end up switching one on each side to be green to play off of the saucer. And what I end up doing here is placing the kind of Wally items on the left hand side as like a seating area while you're waiting for your repairs, your fueling, whatever the case may be. And then on the right hand side, I incorporate some of the actual like chairs themselves. As I go along, I move these multiple times because it just was too far back in the actual photo, and I wanted to ensure that you could actually see the elements and that it wasn't too bare in the foreground. Near the saucer, I put a couple of the spacesuits and the telescope over there, and Stitch's ship next to the fueling station, which later I make the decision to have it to where Stitch's ship is on fire. I basically created this narrative after the fact, or as I was going along here, I found these like little smoky things. It's supposed to be more of the like Vizier like sparks, but it's showing up as a mound of like sand with smoke coming out of it. So I put those back there, but again, as I start to go here, that element isn't as visual as I wanted it to be, so I incorporate the little pyrotechnic box that we got from that star path as well to have fire on his ship. So basically, everyone is like having a normal day, and Stitch is just over here with his badness level too high, and he has his ship caught on fire. And so I incorporate a little like robot next to him there and bring the fire extinguisher from Eternity Isle, and you can't see it as well as I would like, but it's just a little touch in there. So this is starting to form what we're gonna do here. Just checking here the tags to see how far I can stand away, and just trying different things. So I have this little ball here that I thought that I might use. I incorporate two of the lights, stage lights from that star path as well, and then we have the little Jafar items here also. I end up moving the little I don't know what it is, like light orb to behind the vine wall, and then I keep the two stage lights and only one of the Jafar items there, just to see if I can get some spark and added interest into my photo. Initially, I thought that I was wanting to do this during the day, but as I started to play around with the lighting, I decided that I wanted to do a night shot. Surprise, surprise. I don't think anybody would be surprised by that at this point. But to be fair, it is super vibrant and bright in the end. So hopefully, hopefully we'll be just fine with that. But in the end, I absolutely love the way that my DreamSnap came out. So honestly, I don't really care if it doesn't do as well as I hope, because I honestly am kind of leaning toward this is my favorite DreamSnap, which is kind of wild. But here we're just testing out the placement of all the items, ensuring that you can see everything that I want to be incorporated in there, which I could. We pull those items forward a little bit again, move over that chair, and then I want to incorporate these new crystals somehow. So I bring in the display bubbles, accidentally craft a small one here, and then have to go grind for however long to get more opal to craft more of these. But we do end up crafting a couple more and incorporate a couple of the different blue crystals from this star path, as well as some Vitalis Mine crystals. And then I end up inevitably placing one of the bubbles behind me. So it kind of looks like I'm floating in a bubble, sort of. I test out a couple different pathings here and choose to go with this one and then outline with the green one, just to lend itself to the natural colors of this biome. We incorporate some of the I don't even know what they're called. They're the little fragment pieces that are on top of the V8 Cafe refueling station. I incorporated them along the edge of the building itself just to tie it all together. And then we have the little futuristic tablet outside of the cafe, also as if you could like order food to sit outside or order like repairs. And so as I was playing around with the lighting, I found this kind of dark shot that I was like, ooh, that looks nice. But I go back and try a couple different things. So that's what I recommend, is trying out different filters on different times of day and just settling on whatever looks best for your dream snap. So this one felt a little too blown out, like the colors were too bright. And then this one here, my character was too orange. So I end up going about an hour after my current time, and this is kind of where we're sitting. I think I do change it just a little bit more. I was doing this around 9 o'clock at night, but I do change it a little bit more to take some of the like burnt orangeness out of the sky. Inevitably I wanted more. Honestly, I don't know what I was going for at this moment, but in the end what I ended up with was more of like a pinky purple sky, like pastelly, and it looked, I just couldn't pass it up. So here I'm just fidgeting with things. I have little pieces of all the like Eternity Isle fragments and gifts and things like that on the ground. And then I do end up going around and collecting Stitch, Buzz Lightyear, Wally, and Eve for my photo. I trap Stitch near his ship with the little tool set from Big Hero 6, and then I trap Wally and Eve near the little seating area to the left of the V8 cafe. I also incorporate some lighting just to give some additional light to the photo. If I didn't do this, my character was a little bit darker than I wanted, and then I also felt like both sides were a little dark. It was a little too bright, so then I ended up removing things. So it's always just a little trial and error. Trial and I don't know. Just play around with it until you figure out what you like. I also incorporated a couple of the bioluminescent flowers, the blue and green ones from Eternity Isle as well. And then here, what else? There's just little touches of things around. I think that's pretty much it though. I think I end up changing out the bubble on the left to make it be higher, and then take that one that's a little lower and put it behind me. And I think that that was the best call for it. The crystal being that low to the saucer just didn't look as good, but as you can see here, it just looks a little bit better. So just fidgeting with things, trying to figure out where I want things to be. And here, I put some of the glimmer in the little bubble behind me. You couldn't really tell. It didn't really make a huge difference, but in the end, we incorporate a little bit of these mushrooms as well, just to frame in the foreground of our shot and not make it to where um it was blocking everything like it is there. I move it in a little closer, and this was an amazing touch with the pyrotechnic box, but it was also the biggest pain. I ended up, after many times of running back and forth, deciding, this is where I want to stand, and just move the box back and forth. But here we have Eve and Wally sitting down. We have Stitch near his ship, and you can actually see him, and Buzz is actually standing right next to him, so it was perfect. We have 39 out of 4 futuristic, 173 out of 6 lavish. And for our bonus tags, we also have quite a few there as well, with 177 strong and 182 wondrous. So let's go ahead and take a look at what this looks like in the voting. So here we have the smaller version, and even in a smaller form, it is super vibrant, and I absolutely love the colors that we are able to achieve with this. My character is a little darker than I want it to be, but everything else is so ethereal and like spacey that I can't help it. It's gorgeous. I love it. And I love that you can also see, despite it being like pinks and purples in the sky, the little stars and the constellations, and we have a little bit of the electricity coming from the left hand side. So I just think that it looks so good. I'm very pleased with the way that this turned out, and I am hoping, fingers crossed, that this version of like otherworldly does better for me than the one that we did for, forget what it was for. It was like a Wally theme. Um, so fingers crossed. But like I said, at the end of the day, I just love this so much. I'm very much always loved like this space and planets and constellations and like zodiacs. Like as a kid, like I loved all that stuff. So this just screams so much of the aesthetic that I love, and the colors are so gorgeous. Um, and at the end of the day, that's all I can ask for. I absolutely love this. So I hope that you enjoyed this video. Sorry it's a little bit of a longer one. I wanted to slow down some of the parts to show like my process with the lighting a little bit, and it took me a long time to record this because my throat just kept being weird. But hopefully you enjoyed this video. I will have my results video up for the harvest celebration tomorrow on Thursday, so keep an eye out for that, and I hope you have a good rest of your day. See you next time. Bye.